Hello again, it's Dean here. I'm doing a video on Rufus Hound and his behaviour on what was formerly Twitter, which is now X, and how he seems to think that his behaviour on there and the abuse he dishes out is completely normal, and thinks nothing of how he is so unaware of his self-aware, how self-aware he is of his vile behaviour. I became aware of him. I was barely aware of him before the Andrew Gold heretic video, and I looked into it and just suddenly I became aware that he is through the interactions is unaware of how abusive he is and how he is quite happy to you know abuse you, and then when you point out his behaviour, it's like he just tries to reverse psychology. Oh, it's you, it's you, it's you. In actual fact, of not whilst all along being unaware and have no self awareness of how bad his behaviour is. I will put in a few tweets. He's since deleted some of the tweets because he realised that they were inappropriate. But I suspect what's happened is that someone he knows has said, "You better delete that." That's probably going beyond. But to give you an example, I'm learning to play the tin whistle. Now, he attacked me for that, and that was all he would ever do. That was his usual tactic, and then try to, when you confront him about his vile behaviour, try to reverse psychology sort of techniques to say, "Oh, but it's you, isn't it? You're this," and try and say, "Oh, you're getting tetchy, or you're getting this," and I said, "No, why are you behaving like this?" I even in one tweet, post reply rather than tweets. It's no longer known as tweets. I even at one point said, "Why are you behaving like this? Is it because your career isn't what it used to be? Is it because your wife left you? Is it because the lack of access to your kids? What's going on?" And yet, at no point during the interactions was anybody of his almost 1 million followers on X liking his posts when it came to these interactions. And he's trying to say, "Oh," and then he tried to say, "You've only got X amount of this and that." And I said, "Granted, you got a few more followers than me, only a few, but I've got more views than you." And for someone who has almost 1 million followers on X, formerly Twitter, I am surprised that he's only got barely just over 200 followers, subscribers on YouTube. And he's not been able to use that influence he might have on X to get more followers. And he didn't like that. But you look at, he's being called a misogynist, and rightly so, by someone he was being rude to. He was also being a bit racist towards someone who was Welsh. I wouldn't say bit, actually fully racist towards someone who's being Welsh. And he was just constantly abusive. And you look at that, I mean, you don't just take my words. I'll try and take a few snapshots of the tweets he would say to be abusive. And now I'm strong enough to be able to cope with that. But the point being is this, it's not whether I'm able to cope with it or not. There are others on this platform who may not. And he may contribute detrimentally to others for the outcomes of how others deal with that. This is a man who acts in a vile manner. And when you approach him, he just doubles down and never reflects and has any self-reflection or self-awareness. And this is a typical trait of many on the left. He just doubles down and reverts just to abuse. Rather than saying, you know what, actually reflect on that. You're being rude, you're being disrespectful, you're being a great many negative things. And there's no redeeming behaviour on his behalf as to how he behaves. So I would say go look at his tweets, posts rather. I keep on making the mistake of saying tweets, but go and look at him, check him out, and see what I mean. And I'll I'll try and take pictures so you can see just how vile he is. But anyway, but yeah, one last post. If you ever interact with him and he calls you a fascist, just do what I do and politely and calmly remain calm, remain polite, and just ask a simple question in that calm manner. What did I do or say that is fascist? And you'll find that he will do what I did with me, that as he will with you, and not reply to that. He never explains, and this is a typical trait of those who are on the left. When you ask them in a calm manner, what did you do or say that is fascist, they usually buckle and say, don't say anything, or just keep on saying the accusations that you're this, you're that, or whatever, But this, I brought the brief video of just how ghastly a human being that Rufus Hound is being. And he needs to be able to, someone needs to, who's got some influence on him, needs to approach him and say, you might need to reflect on your behaviour and understand how you're in the wrong. Anyway, that said, I hope you have a good day. And if I can record the posts and put them up, I will do. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.